News source, I'm Lisa Jackson. The FBI is investigating the Tuesday night shooting of an alleged thief by Troutman's chief of police. Now, Chief Wayne Mills says the man he saw had refused to take his hands out of his pockets, so he had reason to believe the man had a gun. Mark Johnson was shot twice, and he remains hospitalized tonight at Iredell Memorial Hospital. And Gastonia investigators now believe that yesterday's fire at the Villa East Apartments was deliberately set. 8 units were destroyed and 2 more damaged in that blaze. Stay with us. We'll have another update for you in about an hour. For News Source, I'm Lisa Jackson. Greensboro voters go back to the polls next Tuesday, but this time it's to decide where smokers can and can't light up. Now, the current law bans smoking in most businesses and retail stores, and it requires that large restaurants set aside space for non-smokers. But next Tuesday, voters will have the option of making those ordinances voluntary instead of mandatory. And the proposed site for a Durham landfill is raising some eyebrows as well as tempers. Opponents say all the seagulls a landfill would likely attract could pose a hazard for planes leaving the airport, which is located just 5 miles away. Stay with us. We'll have another update for you in about an hour. From Wbtv, your 24-hour news source, I'm Lisa Jackson. Sources say that President Bush heard of the positive Iraqi response to the Soviet peace initiative from the television tonight. That plan calls for the full and unconditional withdrawal of 540,000 Iraqi troops from Kuwait. Nevertheless, White House spokesman Marlin Fitzwater has told reporters that the war will continue and that a massive Allied ground assault to liberate Kuwait is still under consideration. And U.S. Air may be heading to the Middle East pretty soon. The Uncle Sam has alerted the airlines, all major airlines, that they may be asked to volunteer 1 or 2 planes for the war effort. Stay with us. We'll have another update for you in about an hour. From Wbtv, your 24-hour news source, I'm Lisa Jackson. U.S. Central Command in Riyadh said that more than 14,000 Iraqis have been captured or have surrendered during the first 24 hours of the ground assault. General Schwarzkopf says Allied casualties are remarkably light, but he didn't say how many had been wounded or killed exactly. One British military expert predicts that from what he's heard, Allied forces could break the back of Iraqi forces by Tuesday. And on the second day of the offensive, Baghdad radio is urging Iraqi troops to strike with all your force to save the country from the abyss of slavery. The report claims that Iraqi troops are crushing the advancing Allied forces. Stay with us. We'll have another update for you in about an hour.
Charlotte Mecklenburg's new school chief reported to work for his first day on the job. Then he told WBTV News about his plans for our schools in his first live interview, a WBTV News exclusive.
I think we can tolerate misconduct in our schools. It's incumbent on any school system to make sure that youngsters have equal access to excellence.
Your child's education matters. You'll get the most complete coverage of our schools on your 24-hour news source, WBTV.
Some showers heading back to Charlotte tonight. We'll talk about it at 11.
Iraqi President Saddam, your 24-hour news source, I'm Lisa Jackson. As you just heard moments ago from CBS News, Baghdad radio carried a speech by Saddam Hussein earlier in which Hussein acknowledged that an Iraqi withdrawal from Kuwait would be complete by today. Now, Saddam called the action a victory for the Iraqi people, despite the fact that he said Kuwait must be returned to its current status. It appears that this may meet the U.S. demand for a public statement. Meanwhile, U.S. pilots say that Iraq deliberately chose an overcast night to launch its most recent Scud missile attack. That attack in a military installment in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, killed 27 and wounded at least 98 others. Stay with us. We'll have another update for you in about an hour. Exiled Kuwaiti government